The castle had always been there, high on the hill above the river. Its gray stone walls were older than memory, and its towers reached into the clouds as if trying to pierce the heavens. To the people in the villages below, it was both a comfort and a curse. By day, its shadow offered shelter from the heat. By night, its silhouette against the moon looked like the ribs of some giant, long-dead creature. No one spoke of the queen who lived inside the castle unless they had to. When her name was whispered at all, it was with unease, as though the sound itself might summon her gaze. She was called Queen Eleanor, though the people rarely used her name. To them, she was only the Lady in Red. Eleanor had ruled for many years, yet she looked unchanged. Her face was smooth, her lips red as ripe berries, her hair a deep, burnished brown without a hint of gray. While kings in neighboring lands grew old, bent, and weary, Eleanor remained radiant, like a woman of 20. The villagers asked themselves, how could this be? At first, they thought it was simply luck, or perhaps the blessing of some distant saint. But luck fades, saints grow weary, and Eleanor only grew more beautiful. Then came the disappearances. It began slowly, like drops of rain before a storm. A farmer's daughter did not return from the market. A miller's child vanished after dusk. At first, no one dared accuse the queen, but the whispers spread, passing from one household to another, until the truth could no longer be hidden. The Lady in Red was taking the young. Those who lived closest to the castle told darker tales still. They said screams carried on the wind at night. They said blood-stained water ran from the castle drains, trickling down the rocks like thin red threads. And they said the queen bathed in it, believing it would preserve her youth forever. Despite the fear, life in the village continued. Fields had to be plowed, bread had to be baked, and children still played at the riverbank, though their parents watched them with anxious eyes. Among those children was a girl named Clara. Clara was not the prettiest or the cleverest of the children, but she was bright-eyed and kind. Her laughter was light, and she had a way of making others feel less alone. She lived with her widowed mother, who often told her, "Stay close, Clara. Do not stray near the hill. Promise me." Clara always promised. But promises are fragile things, especially when the world around them grows heavy. One autumn afternoon, Clara's mother grew ill. The sickness was not sudden, but it weighed on her more each day, until she could no longer rise from her bed. Clara tended to her as best she could, fetching water, chopping wood, and preparing broth, though her small hands struggled with the work. When her mother's fever worsened, Clara went to the healer's hut on the edge of the village. The healer, an old man with clouded eyes, gave her herbs and whispered something he had not dared speak before. "Child," he said, "the queen's youth is stolen from you and yours. It is taken drop by drop. Do not let her see you. Promise me, Clara." Clara nodded, though fear pressed against her chest. Winter came early that year. Snow blanketed the fields, and the villagers huddled close to their hearths. Inside the castle, however, warmth still glowed. Behind tall windows of colored glass, Queen Eleanor walked the halls, her gown a deep crimson, her fingers adorned with rings of gold. She was restless. Though her beauty remained, it never felt like enough. Each time she gazed into her mirror, she thought she saw faint lines forming at the corners of her eyes. Each time she touched her cheek, she swore her skin had grown thinner, and so her hunger grew. Her servants brought her more girls, taken from farms and cottages in the dead of night. Their voices echoed in the stone halls before falling silent forever. Eleanor bathed in their blood, letting it soak her skin, believing with each crimson drop she was defeating time itself. Yet no matter how much she took, the mirror still whispered its cruel truth. Beauty fades. Even yours. One evening, as the snow fell heavy against the castle walls, Eleanor sent her guards to the village again. This time their eyes fell on Clara. She had been fetching water from the well, her scarf drawn tight against the cold, when the soldiers surrounded her. Her bucket tipped, spilling icy water onto the snow. Clara tried to run, but her small legs carried her only a few steps before the soldiers caught her arm. Her mother screamed from the doorway, coughing, too weak to follow. Clara's last glimpse of her was framed by the flickering firelight, her mother's hand reaching out in vain. The soldiers dragged Clara up the hill, through the gates, and into the waiting darkness of the castle. Inside, Queen Eleanor awaited. The girl was brought to her chamber, a place of chilling beauty. Tall windows glowed with colored glass, casting pools of red and gold light on the floor. Tapestries hung on the walls, each one showing hunts, battles, and triumphs of queens long gone. And in the center stood a great iron tub, already half filled with water darkened by old stains. Clara trembled as the queen approached. Eleanor's smile was smooth, her voice soft like silk. "You are a pretty one," she said. "So young, so full of life. Tell me, child, do you know why you are here?" Clara shook her head, though in her heart she already feared the answer. Eleanor bent close, whispering, "You are here to make me beautiful forever." But in that moment, something unexpected happened. Clara, though afraid, did not beg. She did not scream. Instead, she looked at the queen with wide, honest eyes and said, "Why would you want my life when you already have everything?" The words caught Eleanor off guard. For a moment she faltered. No one had ever spoken to her like that. No servant, no villager, no victim had ever dared ask her why. Eleanor stepped back, her painted smile flickering. She remembered a time long ago, before her hunger had consumed her, when she too had been a child. She remembered laughter in sunlit fields, her mother's warm embrace, the simple joy of being alive. The memory was brief, but it pierced her like a blade. Clara spoke again, her voice trembling but steady. "My mother needs me. She is sick. If you take me, she will die alone. Please, you have no need of me." The chamber grew quiet. The stained glass window glowed with fading light, painting the queen's face in fractured colors. For the first time in many years, Eleanor felt something she had long buried: shame. The queen turned toward the mirror on the wall. In its reflection, she saw herself not as she wished to be, but as she truly was. Her face was still smooth, yes, but her eyes were hollow. Her lips curved in a cruel smile, yet beneath it lay emptiness. Around her feet, in the reflection, lay bones upon bones, the remains of those she had taken. And behind her, in the glass, Clara's small figure stood, fragile yet unbroken. A tremor passed through Eleanor's hands. The mirror seemed to whisper again, "Beauty fades, but cruelty lasts forever." When the guards returned to the chamber, they found the iron tub empty. The queen stood by the window, her gown still gleaming red, but her eyes were distant. Clara was gone. The soldiers asked no questions. None dared. Clara returned to her village before dawn. Her mother, weak and fevered, wept to see her safe. Clara told no one of what had passed in the castle, not even the healer. Some secrets, she felt, were too heavy for words. But from that night on, the disappearances slowed. The cries that once echoed from the hill grew fewer, until at last they stopped. No one knew why. Some said the queen had tired of her hunger. Others claimed she had struck a deal with spirits. But Clara, watching from the riverbank, understood a little better. The queen had looked into her mirror and seen the truth. Years passed. Clara grew into a woman, then a mother herself. She told her children many stories by the fire. Tales of rivers and forests, of brave wanderers and clever animals. But she never told the tale of the lady in red. High on the hill, the castle still stood. Its towers pierced the clouds. Its windows glowed with pale light. And within, Queen Eleanor remained. Still beautiful, still radiant, but quieter than before. She walked her halls alone, touching the cold stone with restless fingers, haunted not by the loss of her youth, but by the memory of a child's voice asking why. In the end, her beauty endured, but it no longer mattered. For the cruelest truth was not that time would take her beauty. It was that cruelty itself had taken everything else.